What's up, Joe?
Senor Brad, ¿cómo estás hoy?
Dude, we're doing okay over here. I'm trying to think. My wife took the family to the beach today. My mother-in-law is taking all of them to Disney next week, so I don't have to. I'll get the house to myself for 4 days. It's going to be awesome.
A little staycation.
Yeah. Me and the animals just chilling. So
well, I'd recommend I would recommend you do all those big chores you've been neglecting, like those thorough house cleanings. That I heard of a company down there. It's like what is it called? I think French Maid Cleaners. I want to get them.
No, honey, I was just getting the house clean.
It's a business expense. It's a business.
Yeah.
Don't worry, it's a business expense.
That's fucking hilarious.
Yeah, she's gonna hate me before this is over.
Yeah, there you go.
But no, she knows I'm joking.
Of course, she doesn't listen to this anyway.
Yeah,
it's all good. Fear and greed up to 30, dude. We're out of the what is it? Mortal fear? What the fuck do they call it? The real fear below. I don't remember what it's called. But look at this chart. Like all-time high for the last 3 months. Yeah. Up to 30 here. Our best performance prior to this in the last 3 months was May 2nd at a 28. So looking good. Now, again, I'm still skeptical because I think people are going to sell off and take profit, but I'm still cautiously optimistic, dude.
Well, when you think about what's happened in the last couple of weeks and you see that trend line is still going, I mean, it's going up through all of that mess.
Yep.
It didn't really stall much. I mean, to me, that's impressive.
Yep.
And I think everybody's waiting for it to be more positive, and everybody feels like there's a positive outlook.
Bitcoin broke over 23.
Wow.
Yeah, and ETH is at 1538.
Yeah, I don't know, man. If I bought at 890 or whatever, I'm trimming here. If I'm on the ETH side, I'm sorry.
Oh, if I bought at 890, definitely.
I'm trimming 25% at least right now.
Yeah.
And let the house money ride. Well, no, you're not in house money purely, but you're looking good.
Yeah, I've got some shit staked, and I've been thinking about that all morning. Because I didn't buy at 890. I mean, but I did buy down in this range of where we are, and there's a little bit of profit there. Now, overall, all time, nowhere near profitable. But I'm kind of resetting the calibration at this point.
Yeah, well, look, merge happens. However that happens, to me, sets the ETH trajectory. If that goes smooth, I think it either goes great or it goes shitty. I don't see an in between myself.
Yeah. Well, if it goes shitty, it's all over.
Yeah, it's going to be big problems. And so I think if it goes great, I think we're on that ETH 10K trajectory.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's, is that 24, 23 this year? I have no idea. But I think it's steadily marching at that point.
Yeah.
And I think there'll be exits in the four range too, where you could take.
Yeah.
One thing I saw this morning in all these charts was, our boy Fantom. And I'm not, again, I don't have a ton of Fantom right now, but around 32 maybe.
I got a little stack I've been building up.
Well, maybe it's 50 something.
Let me pull it up. Let me just do the proper search thing. By the way, Matic gave back a little bit yesterday.
Yeah.
Last 24 hours, 5.56% down. But, people are going to take profit, or
everybody's having this same conversation we're having right now.
Yeah. Matic's at 33.73.
What's the number there? Yeah,
Fantom, not Matic. Fantom.
It's up 17.5.
Yeah.
The last 24 hours, I guess.
14 here.
I think everybody's just, it's not just us talking about it. I think when people look at the top, layer ones, layer two plays, and what's still got something to deliver, you look at Fantom, it hasn't made the move yet.
No.
So, when I look at that, I don't remember where I sold some of this. I want to say, what was its high? Give me like a 1 year. Oh, there you go.
1.7, 3.32, 332.
Yeah. So I was selling. Is that
90% down?
Yeah, I was selling some of them because I was anxious about that dip right before there.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, I'm not getting stuck with this. And so I was selling some at that point, which I'm glad I did. But look, it's a solid network. It's a solid layer one. That's
Look
just
at that
poised to
dump and
explode.
pump, though. That's like fucking pretty extraordinary.
Yeah, that was, I think, the June stuff, the May.
No, this is December
of this year.
21. Yeah. Dumped from 314 in November to $1.27 in December, and back up to 332.
I think that's the surprising, that 332 on January. That's why I thought it was earlier.
Well, that was all that pile in on what the fuck was that project that everybody piled into for the liquidity? Drawing a blank.
Snow Dog?
No. What's his name's? What's his name's project? No, that was Avalanche. Was it Snow Dog Avalanche? Yeah, Snow Dog.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
I get alerts every now and then on that still.
Time Wonderland?
No. No. The project, there was a project on Fantom that what's his name launched to be a liquidity provider in the space. Everybody piled in. TVL grew dramatically. James says solidly. Yeah, that's it.
All right.
Yeah, solidly. Thank you, James. Thank you, James.
You.
Niblets, no, not Tomb, but actually Tomb probably had an impact on that because Tomb was really popular. So, I could definitely see that had an impact as well at that time frame. Anyway, Fantom got some room to grow. We've been talking about it a lot. I've been stacking Fantom, putting it in the staking and on the proof of stake staking. And I've got a little pair yield farm going with another pair. But I'm happy with that. And overall, market's looking hunky dory, relatively speaking.
It's kind of like what Swizzly, I think, was saying yesterday, or and we were talking about Shizzy. Sorry, what did I say, Swizzly? Sorry, I was thinking Swizzle Stick, man. I'm sorry. I'm like already ready for happy hour, and it's what 12:07.
Swizzly, that's good.
But hey, sorry about that, buddy. Great brand name, anyhow. Either way, but look, we were talking about Matic a lot. So when I see Fantom, I mean, if I'm picking right now, I'm picking Fantom.
Yeah.
Or if I'm trimming Matic, I'm trimming and going into Fantom.
Yeah.
If I'm trimming ETH, I'm trimming ETH going into, if I don't have Matic, I'm looking at that a little bit, starting to watch, but I'm definitely going in Fantom.
Yeah.
So, I mean, to me, this has if we're going to play the summer run up with the potential for the October low that the shamans and witches and fractal predictors all say, you still make money. You could 3-4x in that time period in Fantom. I don't think you can do that in Matic right now. I think too much has moved.
This is really interesting by Niblets. What are the counterfactuals against FTM? Could it be the Dvorak keyboard of DeFi? Do you remember the Dvorak keyboard? Dvorak keyboard was a new design of a keyboard that was superior, made you type faster, was better, more ergonomic, et cetera, rearranged the keys. And I think it was contoured to your hands, whatever. Look, it could become the Dvorak keyboard. I love that analogy of DeFi. But I actually think that knowing so many of the builders in that space, that it has a much better chance, right? I mean, nobody was developing anything for the Dvorak keyboard because you couldn't. In this case, the model works because there are people ardently developing on that platform and creating new shit. Now, there's a little bit of hesitation in my conviction because I have seen some of those builders start to expand to other layer ones and deploy their projects there, but I can't blame them, right? When the TVL dropped and liquidity started dropping, they have to sustain their projects, and so I totally get that. But I have so much confidence in these builders, the guys I know at Spirit Swap, the guys I know over at
Fantom Foundation.
Fantom Foundation definitely, but my brain is just not functioning today. Anyway.
Spooky Swap?
No.
Geist?
No.
Oh no, Ola.
No.
Sorry.
It's all right. It'll come to me later. Anyway, I'm very excited. I see a lot of potential because I know these people are building and they're building hard and strong. And I think that there's a ton of potential there. It could just die off like other chains have. But I think there's enough activity still there to allow it to grow. So I'm actually excited to see it.
Also, I would say that when you compare it to, like, say, Cardanos and Stellars and Trons and groups like that were the original batch of Ethereum killers, if I remember correctly, and that they're still around.
Yeah,
I think what you see here with Fantom is that, I mean, barring some kind of catastrophic thing, with the rising tide lifting all boats, you're going to have chances to get out of Fantom. Is my point.
Yeah.
Between now and the next couple of years. So again, remember, I sell. I don't hold long term like that, but I always hold a little of things I like. I just add and decrease. Yeah, kind of like your buddy Sean's strategy with his stacks of BTC and just kind of trading around it, albeit a much smaller scale.
Right.
But I think
it's Reaper, by the way. Reaper Finance is who I'm looking for.
Yeah,
Byte Masons.
Yeah.
The guys at Byte Masons, they're doing awesome work over there. Really impressive group.
I love that name. I'm thinking of that Blue Oyster Cult song.
Yeah. Niblet says, recall you said Polygon strength is in the deal making as much as its tech is FTM deal making. Yeah, they are. And recently have come to learn about a lot of the BD or partnerships they're doing with venture capital. So they announced one last week. Not sure the name. I saw a new venture capital deal coming in. There is money pouring in to fund projects on that chain, and I think they're doing a good job on that front. I don't think they're taking as aggressive a approach on BD with projects from the perspective of high profile integrations or development efforts that I think Polygon is doing really well. I think what they're doing is they're getting biz dev deals together that can fund and grow the ecosystem without them being direct integrations with the Fantom blockchain. But, I certainly like to see more of that, but I think they're doing a really good job. They have a strong team. The dev team there is phenomenal. The consensus mechanism is superior within Fantom. And so again, and I always go back to the thing that made me a fan of Fantom from the beginning. And that is the community is so hardcore around this blockchain. Hardcore groups of people engaged in investing and building, I think are pillars for getting to success. But they can do better across the board. I think they can. I think there are bad folks in the space that I'd like to see out, including one billionaire that fucking up the works. But overall, I feel very confident about how Fantom is and who's underneath and who's making things happen there.
Well, and particularly when you look at, again, the ones we named earlier, the Stellars, Cardanos, Trons, but throw Algorand in that category, throw all these groups that have just been throwing money at trying to maintain a brand and a presence. And I honestly don't, I guess there's been more activity over at Stellar and Cardanos of late, but I'm not really following it. So I look at FTM and I go, they've been around a couple of years too, but, I think the tech's better because it's built latest generation, or not latest, but couple more generations beyond Stellar and Cardanos. So you're not like toothpicking and duct taping shit together. It's kind of I think you have probably a better base, at least in comparison to any of the other ones. Yeah. But I'm not evaluating tech. I don't really know why any of these chains might be better or not. Yeah. So when somebody says like a superior consensus mechanism, I get it. That means something about processing higher quality transactions faster. Yeah. But I don't know why it does that. So, a lot of these chains kind of evolved in my mind out of, high ETH gas fees.
Now,
I don't know if that's the case anymore. So
yeah, well, I think that was part of driving the interest, but Fantom had a core base of users prior to that.
Right.
Now, this is really interesting. I decided to hop over to DeFi Llama to look at the current rankings based on TVL. And Fantom's down to number 9, which isn't great, but they're sitting at 857.74 million. But what's interesting here is, so Waves and Tron, like, you know, I really need to take a deeper dive into Tron, but it makes me a little nauseous to think about doing it. But look, they have a massive Asian market propping that thing up, right? Because look, you've only got 10 fucking protocols. What the fuck are people doing over there? I mean,
rolling dice.
Yeah, exactly.
That's it, man.
Now this one is really interesting to me. Chronos up to number 7. Right. I mean, you and I dabbled a little bit over there, but we didn't stick around. I didn't stick around.
I wasn't impressed with the Chronos guys that I met at the Bloomberg conference, to be honest.
Yeah, but
wasn't impressed.
But isn't Chronos, isn't that crypto.com? Yeah. Yep. So, I mean, you have to go with the idea that, hey, that's a lot of users, right? And so at 1.27 billion TVL, you know, that may be a contender that's got to be looked at, because if you can drive your retail users in there from your centralized exchange into your DeFi protocol, and you got 72 protocols already in there. The guys at Crystal are in there, right?
Yeah, but also look at, like, I find interesting the Solana comparison, because Solana's got 72 protocols as well, 2 up.
Right.
Then go to the right and look at the TVL.
Double the TVL.
Yeah, but look at the market cap then. Keep going right again. Sorry.
Yeah.
So you got a 2.64 and a 5.47.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it looks to me like there's room to grow on the Chronos side.
Yeah, totally agree.
With the users, like you said.
I totally agree. I think there really is.
But Tron, nah.
Yeah. And here, you know, this wave shit, what's crazy to me is I keep seeing integrations and projects working on waves. And I'm having a lot of difficulty understanding. Number one, it's been around for a long time. Number two, they had that whole wacky shit with their stable coin that was going on. I get a little flabbergasted when things like Cardano and Tron and Waves are anywhere near the top 10 of anything. You know, it makes me very nervous about people and their engagement and involvement with them.
They look like big potential goose eggs.
5 fucking protocols, and 2 of them are built by the team, the core team, and, you know, 868 million. Now, the last time we looked at Waves, it was all in that Virus Finance. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that lending protocol and Neutrino, their stable swap. But, you know, what's interesting is all of that money, I don't know what that equates to in wallets, right? I don't know how many people are actually there using it, or if this is just being propped up with venture money and fucking it's all bullshit. I don't know.
Scroll down. What does the second 10 look like?
Second 10. So, well, we got Arbitrum up here, layer 2. Parallel, I've never heard of. Mixin, I think I've looked at before. DeFi chain, that's the Bitcoin-based. That's a Bitcoin-based DeFi chain, which gets no coverage whatsoever. What's interesting is, do they list stacks here, or do they not even list stacks?
I see Cardano at 29. There's Neo.
I don't see stacks here at all.
I see it down right there. I just saw it.
Oh, there it is. Oh, shit. Stacks is hurting. 19.79 million. That's fucking painful. So why the hell does DeFi chain, what's it going on? Oh, it's their own DEX and their own lending platform. Yeah. That looks like another Waves propped up with, you know, venture money.
But what I see, the good ones I see there, Optimism at 15, Near at 16.
Near. What's Near got going in TVL right now? 343 million.
Yeah, I don't know what they've only got 8 protocols. I don't even know. I haven't, you know, every time I go to try to do something there, I'm like, oh shit, I got to set another wallet up. And then I'm like, next. I think so. But,
yeah, and then here we got good old Algorand, who still hasn't figured out their fucking marketing shit. You know, I mean,
did they ever hire you to fix their UI UX issues?
They did not. Help me. hire me, but they should. The CEO followed me. The new CEO followed me. And I've had some interactions with them, but they definitely should hire me. I'll save them.
Yeah, we should. Let's move them. We could single-handedly move them from 20 to, I bet we could bump them to 16 quickly.
There you go.
TVL? What's the TVL of it? Sorry.
Let's go back to Algorand is at 211.
Yeah, it's probably all Chinese commercial paper too.
No, you know whose money that is?
That's, it's Mooch's. It's Mooch's. He's got his hedge fund.
The problem is he's only got, I think he put 300 million in, so he's already down.
Yeah. Is that their multiple, TVL multiple over 12? That's pretty high. Is that number on the right?
No, it's market cap. Yeah, that is market cap to TVL. You're right.
Yeah.
Right.
So again, we always talk about these ratios. Look at Cardano, 128.
Yeah.
I mean, is that over fucking priced or what?
Let's sort by that. Let's see what we got. Can I sort by that? Yeah.
You should be able to.
Polkadot, Ravencoin. Holy shit. Ravencoin, I haven't thought about in a long time.
Ones, right? These are the lowest ones? So the best ones.
338.
Oh, no, 338,000 times TVL. Shit.
Well,
that's different for Polkadot, though. Or well, I don't know Bifrost, but.
I don't know Bifrost. I just flipped it.
Oh, now we're getting the best ones. Okay.
Yeah, I'll flip it back here. Okay. But here's the best ones.
All right.
Bifrost, Fusion, Akala. Yeah, but what are we talking about?
Akala kind of caught my eye when we were looking. They're in the second 10 of those. They were like maybe 16 or 17. It kind of caught my eye when we were going through like the Near and the other ones in that above Algorand. That might be one. Sora, I've heard. Moon River was a lot of talk about Moon River.
Moon River was getting a lot of hype there for a little while. 104 million in TVL.
Fantom at number 9 with basically a 1. Yeah, there's another indicator why you should be getting on Fantom right now.
But that's only your.
I mean, to me, it's my indicator when I go.
There's your SIF, Joe.
All right, number 17.
1.479.
I added to that the other day. I think they got one protocol running. It's the website.
7.4 million in TVL.
Yeah, it ain't. I don't think I've ever done anything there, but
poor Gnosis, man. They've been around forever. 2.03, 194 million. That chain has seen a little growth lately. I've been looking at it in terms of projects moving on. So, there's so many of these chains. It's like, what's Meta standing at right now? 36.22 million. That's pretty sad, right? Because they're built upon Vitalik's model for layer 2s. One of his previous papers, and his mother is on the core team at Metis, but they can't get out of the gate. I think it has potential, but
anything that has Vitalik's mom in it, it's going to have potential.
Yeah,
I mean, she's obviously. I'm not talking for the nepotism races. I'm talking because she's obviously going to be smart.
Yeah, she is. And look, she's his mother and father were both developers. I'm pretty sure. So.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Look at EOS there at 51.
Doof. 119 million. 8.841. What's anyway.
Yeah. So you get the point, everyone.
Yeah. That was fun. Okay. What else we got? Gary Gensler, again, telling everyone, come in and talk to us. But Gary and his SEC are getting publicly shredded in Congress today. Representative Tom Emmer, I'm going to post a link to this video because it's pretty fucking classic. They're questioning the head of enforcement at the SEC. And Emmer gets him to admit that yes, they are doing extra jurisdictional requests. Yes, they are going after blanket industry letters and going after people, for zero reason, just doing blanket dragnets, trying to catch whatever they can. And number 3, these request letters are supposed to be voluntary, but they're actually basically taking enforcement actions against people that ignore the request letters. And there was a number 4, I don't remember. Oh, and they are, of course, which we've all talked about quite a bit. They are telling everyone, come in and talk to us. People come in and talk to it, and then they initiate an enforcement action against people that come in to talk to them, right, to figure out how to make it so they're legal under the SEC. I've seen multiple people in Congress going off about Gensler over the last few days. Looks to me like a concerted effort to weaken him and target him. And it screams out to me that the boys in TradFi are not pleased with their Goldman Sachs buddy. So we'll see what happens, but they're going hard after them.
Yeah, I mean, two things. One, I suspect this is a result of a lot of the crypto lobbying that we've been talking about in the past, because now the messaging seems to be more about two things. One, it creates economic value, and the TradFi side is now supportive of that creation of economic value, which I find pretty interesting. The other thing I was thinking about with the Gary Gensler stuff, extra jurisdictional. Are we talking about like geographical jurisdiction?
No, extra enforcement jurisdiction. So people that are not under the SEC at all, they're sending out blanket letters. And I mean, in fairness, I gotta address it. The enforcement guy from Grewald said, well, yes, we do send out letters, but it's always in the course of an investigation. And Emmer basically said bullshit, but didn't say bullshit, because they send out these request letters in blanket form. It's fishing expeditions, right? They're going after somebody. And so they go out and say, okay, anybody that's had any association with this company, I'm going to go after and make them give me evidence, right, to support the case I'm trying to make against this particular entity or person. And so that was what Emmer was bringing up, was that they're going after companies that aren't under their jurisdiction, that aren't securities trading or anything else related to it. So,
yeah, well, we were talking about that a bit. I mean, the battles between SEC and CFTC over jurisdictions, and they're just all, I mean, obviously CFTC less than SEC, but they're all just claiming areas that aren't theirs. I mean, I think the lesson here is, if you did do potentially a activity that gets you SEC exposure, such as a capital raise, and you're concerned, do not go in there alone.
No.
Lawyer up first. Come on, man.
With a lawyer that's worked with the SEC before.
So if anybody wants a referral, just message us, because I've got some really good guys, but you got to be ready to write a retainer check out of the gate.
And that goes normal. Back to, and that's normal. But that goes back to what we talked about the other day. Like, if you want to deal with being regulatory compliant, you better step up with 50 to 150 grand at least, just to get started.
Yeah. No,
with a good attorney.
But these are guys that have worked at the SEC, and I mean, they're in there advocating for you.
Yeah. And they're in there every other day. I mean, they're dealing with the SEC on a regular basis. So
so they help you get
compliant. Of guys you want.
Yeah, they help you get compliant if you need to. Otherwise, they help you stay in compliance if you're already there. But if you've raised a bunch of money, it's just insurance. You
absolutely
get these guys. And I don't know if I'd volunteer to show up down there, but if there's letters coming, then figure out a way to
get yourself lawyered up. Definitely. Definitely lawyer the fuck up. Anyway, and Emmer was explicitly going after kind of the politicization of this, and there's been a lot of talk about the fact that Gensler's just running fucking wild, and he's fired all the top guys at the SEC. He's replaced them with his buddies. He's stepping on everyone's toes in the regulatory world. Here's what's interesting. Last week, Gensler comes out and says, well, I think we could maybe, you remember we were talking about how it was promising that he was saying, I think we could start doing framework with different disclosures for crypto digital asset projects, right? Well, what happened was somebody on his team said, they're coming after us, dude. You better start looking a little more conciliatory, because they knew this was going to happen and that this was coming this week, that they were going to be targeted. So it's just interesting to watch it.
No, it sounds like a little bit of political knives are out too, but I would, we should start doing a little poll thing. Is there a way we could do survey on this show?
Nah, we'd have to do it on Discord or
okay.
But we can do that.
I'd love to see like a top 10 list of where Gary Gensler lands next. Which protocol? I mean, Algorand's looking pretty nice.
Algorand would be perfect for him. Yeah.
Plenty of money to get paid, nothing going on, but fully compliant.
Exactly. I think the only friend he has anymore is Elizabeth Warren.
Yeah, she's his friend, really? With his Goldman background?
Well, I think she's his friend because she opposes crypto as much as he has been.
Oh, got it. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because every other week, she can't let a week go by without her screaming the same shit she screamed the previous week. So,
well, she's trying to protect Main Street, allegedly. Yeah. And I think Gensler he's protecting big finance more than Main Street. But at the same time, there is that SEC goal to protect the retail investors. So I could see why, now that you said that, why they would bond up.
Yeah, definitely. Here's Emmer. Under Chair Gensler, the SEC has become a power-hungry regulator, politicizing enforcement, baiting companies to come in and talk to the commission, then hitting them with enforcement actions and discouraging good faith cooperation.
Yeah. I mean, look, a lot of people don't like enforcement action, and it isn't just the rebels. It isn't just the pirates. It's the people with most
people have money invested. Exactly. Exactly. And if anybody if you want to keep up with this shit, this is, one of the ways I do it is I follow 2-Bit Idiot, Ryan Selkis, the founder of Masari. He does not hold back. And if you enjoy watching Gensler get beat up, then this is the man to follow, because he shreds him probably every 2 to 3 days. So it's he's entertaining, if nothing else.
Well, it keeps the pressure on. I mean, that's what we want.
Yeah. Well, and he's set up his own, he set up his own political action group, and they're setting up PACs and super PACs. He is hardcore engaged on making sure we're represented. So it's good stuff.
Hey, have you talked to Andrew Yang lately at all?
I haven't, but Yang stirred it up this week because he spoke on Saturday at something called Freedom Fest, which is a libertarian thing. And all of the progressives, I always use air quote with the term progressives because progressives aren't, were freaking out because among the 200 plus speakers at this thing were people who are far right, et cetera. But the point I made was, one of the things that got me excited about supporting him in the presidential campaign, well, the first thing that drew me to him was his solutions were pragmatic. They weren't political in nature, right? They weren't bent to a party. They were, hey, how do we solve this problem? Here's the data. Let's solve it doing this, right? And so that was what drew me to him. Well, what happened during the course of the campaign is it also drew in thousands of Trump supporters. Like, I would say a good third of his base in the Democratic primary were people who were former Trump voters who came on board to him and basically became kind of de-radicalized because his solutions were pragmatic, and they suddenly saw that they didn't have to be fucking screaming, raging people about politics. They could actually solve problems. So Yang is actually hinting that he may run. If Trump is the nominee, or Trump could be the nominee, and Biden is the nominee again, he's hinting now that he may run. On the crypto front.
As a Republican?
No, independent. He started his own party called the Forward Party.
Okay.
Yeah, which is interesting because I think if anyone has a chance to kind of break through the two-party hold, it's him. The party is all about focusing on voting reform issues. So ranked choice voting, open primaries, everything that they're focused on is that. And then UBI, of course, is part of it. But everything he's done to form that party is less about partisanship and more about how do we reform the system and break the stranglehold of two parties. His lobby 3 is still functioning, running. They're doing a lot. They're engaged. They're actively communicating with Congress about crypto and DeFi issues. They seem to have a pretty active community from what I see in the Discord. I'm not actively engaged there, but it's going to be really interesting. The other guy I want to see run on the Democratic Party is Jared Polis out of Colorado. That to me is the guy I want as a Democratic nominee because he's hardcore pro crypto, incredibly popular with Republicans and Democrats in Colorado.
Is he the governor?
Yeah, governor.
Yeah.
Smart guy. Really good guy. He's my number one. My number one choice for Democrats would be Jared Polis.
Well, he's like pro-choice, pro-gay, pro-gun.
Yeah.
It's like,
yeah.
Which you don't combine those three together that often. And
Not very often at all.
You can kind of get the populists.
And like hardcore pro-crypto.
Yeah. Because like you said, a lot of the economic populists, as I call them, Sandinistas or Trump supporters, are actually independents.
Yep.
That aren't as, worshiping at the altar of the individual. It's more about trying to create change from the grassroots up. So more Andrew Yang, the better.
Yeah. Well, and that's what I said last week when everyone was outraged that he was speaking at this event. I said, look, I watched thousands of Trump supporters become pragmatic, voting registered Democrats because of this man. I said, if you want to stop right-wing extremism, you should have Andrew Yang speaking to him every chance he gets because he's really fucking good at it. So anyway, very interesting. Three Arrows Capital, 1,000-page legal document came out, and a lot of people have been analyzing. My buddy Jack Newald did an analysis, and these guys are in so much trouble, Joe. They are buying a $50 million yacht with the hedge funds money. They owe over $3 billion. Genesis is the biggest holder with $2.3 billion. They defaulted on the debts for Celsius and Voyager, the whole bit. But there are in here text messages back and forth between Davies, his co-founder, and others when they're trying to call their loans, and they are blatantly lying to them about their exposure in Luna, blatantly lying to them about what they have and don't have. It's a pretty big clusterfuck, I got to tell you.
Yeah, well, look, I mean, the number one thing if you're in finance, if the shit starts going bad, you don't start making shit up.
Dude, they were making shit up left and right.
Because that is jail time, man.
Yeah.
You just don't get away with that. And this is Terra Luna, so they're the ones with the Korean exposure, right? They're in Korea?
Yeah, no, they're Singapore based. They're not Terra Luna. They're the 3AC.
Oh, 3AC, got it. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, Singapore, I mean, good God, break out the canes. I mean, they're just ugly. Yeah, you're not going to get a hand slap on that one. But you don't, and also the texting around. I mean, what do you?
Well, they were. I mean, you can see in the text. I don't know if he has any quoted here, but I saw another thread that quoted the text messages. You could see the desperation. You could see like they were just blatantly lying to cover their asses, and it's just pretty bad. It's really bad.
I've been in a few of those situations where you see that kind of thing coming in slow motion. The market's turning, your product's going out of favor, and you better get something else up and running or you're going to hit the brick wall. And so the thing is, at that point, you have to be really careful what you say and do with people. Yeah. Because, if you misrep and you get on a fraud side charge of something, not only do you have to pay them money back, and then you can't discharge that in bankruptcy court, I believe, but you also go to jail.
Yeah.
So when the shit's going bad, go get your money, but don't lie.
Don't fucking lie.
If they ask you a question, you don't answer it. Change the subject. Do whatever.
Right.
But don't lie to it. Doesn't mean you can't maneuver.
Yep.
Obfuscate. Focus on what you think is important, but just be smart.
So Suzhou is one of the creditors at $5 million or so, but Kyle Davies' wife.
His wife? His wife. Got it.
Is owed $47 million by their firm. So I can't wait to see the machinations for how his wife loaned $47 million to 3AC. It's going to be very interesting. Nor how the money got to his wife, right? Like maybe his wife's independently wealthy, but my suspicion is we're going to find some interesting data on the funneling of funds.
And we need to find out if his wife's mom is single.
They are saying that there could be some potential further contagion. Genesis is a subsidiary of DCG that owns Grayscale. So the only thing that's left at 3AC are the equity and token agreements of the firms they invested in, but they did spend when they borrowed billions, one of the things they bought was the crypto dick butt NFT.
Don't you love how that shit just comes back and bites you in the ass? No pun intended.
Now here's where it gets really interesting. Blockchain.com, right? So they loaned them what's the amount?
2.3
billion. Yeah. They loaned them 2.3 billion and then said keep them informed if their leverage went above 1.5x. But there were no rules. There was no like, hey, these are the parameters. You must notify us X, blah, 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 blah. These people just loaned them fucking money and said, let me know. Right.
Well,
and it's just fucking crazy.
Well, it's funny. If you remember, like in the 2008 recession, plenty of movies about it. I want to say like not the Big Short, but there's another one called Margin Call. And you just see how, these networks build into different financial institutions where they just do trades over the phone orally or verbally.
Yeah.
And, and they fulfill it. And there's a trust that's built up. So I could just see like somebody's making money at 3AC in the deals. And then they're telling everybody else. And then everybody's piling in. Oh, Sequoia's in or Goldman's in. Fuck, I don't have time to do diligence. If they're in, it's good enough for me. And they pile in.
Yep.
But, I mean, there's something about that whole chasing deals with money to me that just, having been on the wrong side of that a couple times, it never ends well.
No, no. And they were so levered up. I mean, they were out borrowing from everybody and their fucking dog. It was, ugh. Eamon says, so insane the amount of debt they had. It just seems mind blowing. Yeah, it really, it's fucking insanity, like leveraged to the hilt. What I'd like to see at some point is someone who really kind of climbs in and defines if they ever were making money. Right. I mean, or were they always so levered up on debt because they got away with it and they had such a big personality as an influencer that they were just fucking constantly levering up and robbing Peter to pay Paul. I don't know.
I would suspect, without knowing anything, that it accelerated in the last couple of months.
Yeah.
Which is what led everybody to make those decisions to plop money into, say, Terra, because it was like they had to.
Yeah, it was the only way they were going to make it up.
Yeah, and you and I, as in these conversations, we first started looking at these companies maybe January, December 2021, and we knew right away that to pay that yield, you got to go get yield somewhere.
Yeah,
and it's enough to say, oh, transaction fees and this and that, but there ain't enough transactions to pay returns like that.
Well, and it's funny, you and I talked about Anchor Protocol and Luna on the show, and we were like, holy shit, 20%. How can you turn that down? And I never dove into it, even though we both were kind of like, wow, that looks really good. I'd like to do that. And everybody was in on it. And we thought, wow, this is blue chip, Suju's in it, everybody's in it. But I never could pull the trigger on it. I couldn't ever get myself to pull the trigger on putting money over there. I'm obviously glad I did. And it's not that I'm brilliant or anything. It felt at that point in time, it felt too good to be true after what we'd all been through already. So, which is
interesting because you remember last summer, we were looking at shit.
We would have dove on that in a fucking heartbeat.
Yeah, 150% return was like a fucking bank deposit return at that point. And, so I mean, 20, I remember I'd look at 20 and be like, yeah, meh, whatever.
Yeah.
You just move on. And at that point in the market, though, that 20% looked like a T-bill.
Exactly.
A high return T-bill because it was such a conservative, I know it sounds absurd, but 20% was such a conservative return.
Yep.
That you're like, oh, these guys, this is the stable one. These are the guys that aren't fucking around.
The amount was well placed, well timed. The influencer reputations and the people that were in it that I trusted, gave it credence, great credibility. But it just, at that point, it just still, after all the losses we'd all taken, it just seems like it was still too much. But
it was Iceland, basically.
I definitely see why everybody got sucked in. I definitely understand it. So
yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, this shit happens, but you got to flush it and move on.
Hey, Lido is going to move their liquid staking onto layer 2, not Polygon. It's Argent and Aztec. So this is really interesting. And I'm not quite sure the fundamentals of how this works because I haven't dove deeply into the article, but essentially they're going to allow people to, I assume it's some variation of ETH, stake on the layer 2s of Argent and Aztec, and they say more that are coming. So that's really interesting. It's going to be interesting to see, how many people take them up on that. But I've never looked at Argent. I've looked at Aztec because that's the privacy focused one. But I've never looked at Argent at all. So I know nothing about them. So are they in this list? Or since they're layer 2, they're not. They're not. Okay.
What was the other liquidity staking firm that we had on the show?
Swell.
Is that right? Okay.
Yeah. Swell. Yeah, Swell, I think, is about to launch. I haven't looked lately at what they're doing, but they are similar to Anchor. They're trying to do a decentralized play. Anchor's much further along. There was some other innovation there. They were doing it so that instead of taking the tokens out of Swell, that you get your receipt for staking ETH or whatever they're going to offer, you actually could immediately swap that into the farm on their website. And so I think the yields ended up being a bit higher at the base layer on the point of proof of stake staking, as well as on the yield farming, because they were doing something to take advantage of the fact that they were staying on their protocol. Really smart guys. I interviewed them. You guys can listen to them on missiondefi.com. And I think they have good potential. And frankly, I think we need a lot more of these decentralized staking protocols. There's Rocket, there's Anchor, which I love. The guys at Anchor Staking, they listen to us regularly. Hey guys, but I definitely think we need more staking providers. We need to spread it out more. So,
well, remember a few weeks ago the ETH balance we were looking at in one of those pools, and there was a lot of talk about that when I think USDD looked like it was depegging.
Yeah,
and then I think somebody in one of our listeners commented that it was that ratio imbalance was related, I think, to the merge in some way, because you're taking tokens off for the staking model going forward. Is that issue still there?
Yeah, it's better now. I was just looking at it a moment ago. So ETH's at 1569 and STETH's at 1506. So there's an arbitrage there, The bottom line is all these guys that were getting liquidated who had STETH were trying to sell off to get cash. So this was part of this whole consensus, and everybody else that's having issues, financial issues. That's what started it. But I don't know what's currently happening with it. But certainly it's off the peg a little bit right now. 1542 to 1569. I mean, it's not enough that I'd mess with it, but if you think about the fact if you think about the fact that you can buy this at a discount right now off of the current price of ETH, and know that, approximately 6 months after the merge completes, you're going to get 1 ETH for every STETH you have. If you're a conservative investor, that's not a bad investment. And that's how it works. So No horns, no tails said FTM is texts, or no big deals yet. And he said, although very innovative projects. Yeah, there haven't been any big deals like Polygon has. And I think Polygon has a bigger team on the biz dev side, more connections, etc. But I think FTM can ramp that up. I don't know if they will. I don't know if Fantom will or not, but we'll see. We ran out of time, Joe.
Really? What time is it?
2 days in a row. All we've done is talk about 3 topics.
It's just easier because I think that's it. People want to know about these topics. I mean,
real quick, I still think there's some interesting stuff here. Bitcoin Lightning Network capacity hits new all-time high of 4,267 BTC. I'm still really interested to see what can be done, and I don't have enough technical understanding of Lightning, but what's the potential for Lightning Network to operate as a DeFi layer for Bitcoin? And that I really think there's some potential there, and I'm assuming there's some technical limitations to making that happen because nobody is doing it that I've seen, and none of the 3 Bitcoin DeFi plays I know of have any integrations with Lightning. So I'm assuming there's some limitation there, but high speed, low fee. There's got to be some way to leverage potentially what's happening in the Lightning Network. I just don't have enough technical understanding to know yet. I should probably take a deeper dive, but I'll put it on the end of the 20 item list. So
yeah, well, I mean, look, it's to I mean, it's what does Bitcoin want to be? Does it want to be the store of value
Right.
token that it is now, the gold standard, or does it want to be? And I'm not saying that it's not already, but does it want to be more commercially relevant?
Yeah.
The commercial layer. And so, I mean, that's up to that community, I guess, to figure out. I'm sure it could be done. And I'm sure it would be
it would require
to a lot of people.
It'll require another layer, just
Yeah.
like the other solutions that are out there. And that's going to piss off the fucking maxis, but who gives a shit? Fuck them. At the end of the day, I think that if there's an opportunity to put a layer that integrates and utilizes Lightning, that has potential. Now, there are a lot of complications in using Lightning Network. The nodes and peers that have to be set up, the way the money flows from one peer to another peer to another peer to another peer. There's an opportunity to make money there as operating as a node, but that's also complicates shit, right? This isn't just a transactional thing where you're sending money to somebody. This shit's hopping all over the place. People have to have money on nodes to be able to cover it, blah, blah, blah. It's really complex, but I think there's potential. Again, I don't know how that layering system would work, but I definitely think there's an opportunity. So, all right, Joe, got anything else you want to bring up today?
No, I mean, last time I looked, all the TradeFi markets looked okay. They seem to be up somewhat. I mean, seems like everything's humming along. So looks like a good summer. Reminds me of that surfing movie that I used to go to when I was a young lad. Endless Summer. Worth checking out, man.
Europe is melting at the moment.
Yeah, it's not that kind of summer that I'm talking about.
Britain hit the highest temperature ever recorded today in hundreds of years.
Yeah, 104 or something. I was kind of surprised.
104.4.
I remember walking around Vegas and it being like 118 or something, but it's a dry heat, of course.
Yeah.
Bullshit.
Yeah.
It just will chill. I mean, 104 in the UK with no air conditioning. I mean, come on. They're just stacking up bodies right now. It's like whenever those heat waves roll through Paris, I mean, there's always 180 dead people.
It's horrible. Well, all of Western Europe's like that right now. Piping hot. All the guys out at ECC are complaining constantly about how fucking hot it is. It's like, I can't imagine. Last time when we went to Europe a few years ago, just before COVID, we were in Switzerland and it was having all-time highs. And it was fucking brutal. Because you go to Switzerland thinking, okay, it's going to be nice and cool and breezy and lovely. And it was brutal.
Yeah. It's, was up in New England a week or so ago for a bit and driving around there. And I'm telling you, man, Maine, I mean, it is so nice up there right now.
Yeah.
Windows open at night,
it's
anything
beautiful.
up in the Berkshires is super nice right now. And that's like 3 hours from New York City.
Yeah.
Maine, an hour from Boston.
That's what it was like for me in California, man. Everything was nice and cool and breezy. It was beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. So
no, I definitely love that.
Yeah.
But anyhow.
All right, let's wrap it up. Everybody, thank you so much for listening, for watching. And Niblets, James, Eamon, No Horns, No Tail, thank you so much for participating today. We love it when you guys interact. Niblets, I'm going to bring this up tomorrow. He said, what if BTC is just a wrapper for USD, the way USD notes were just a wrapper for gold holdings? Interesting. Maybe we'll have him come on and explain that. I think do we have a guest tomorrow or Thursday?
I don't know.
No. Thursday, we have a guest.
I'd love to see just off the cuff what Sean thinks of that comment of Niblet's question.
Yeah, that'd be interesting. Thanks everybody for listening and watching. We love you and appreciate you. If you have feedback and comments, B05 Crypto on Twitter or Telegram, B05 Crypto #2143 on Discord. Please, if you're on Apple Podcasts, take a moment to rate and review us. It really helps us boost the show. It helps us keep more listeners and grow what we're trying to do. Thank you very much for listening. Please subscribe, click the little bell on YouTube. If you have any comments or thoughts, they are welcome. We love it. We respond to everyone we get. Thanks so much, Joe. Have a great afternoon.